Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from ICM. It comes in a 1/72 scale and it copies MiG-29, but it's not a simple release because as you can see it's a special edition which is named as a Ghost of Kyiv, and we have a commercial sample here, so it means you'll get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review, so it will be interesting to check what is actually included in this nice box. So, the kit number is 72140, it should be already available, so that's why I'm saying it's a commercial sample. And box size is not that huge because it's a 1/72 scale release. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Also, box art looks quite unusual for ICM, I would say. So, some modelers will be confused because we are all used to see the, let's say, pictures as a box art on the ICM kits, but here we have more of a combination of various images together. And then on the side here you have some information and history note about this kit, so just give me a second to take a look. So, we have 82 plastic parts, which should assemble into MiG-29. Obviously, there are no paints or glue included, so you will have to use your own, just like in any other plastic kit. And here we have the marking option. So, as far as I can guess, there is only one marking option, which is quite surprising, but I hope that there will be some surprise, maybe some alternative marking, maybe something else. So, I'm going to open it right now because it's a typical packaging style for this brand. There is nothing unusual, I would say, so it's just a matter of cutting through several plastic seals and it will be open. In the meantime, I can also remind you that you should check these seals if they're not cut through, because if they're cut through, then it means that somebody was opening the kit, I mean maybe the seller. Then it's a good idea to ask why it was opened and maybe to check all the parts if they are intact. So, box design or packaging styling is quite typical. As you can see, we have this flexible top section and also wide sturdy cardboard box which should protect all the parts inside. And now I'm going to open it. It's quite tricky to open. Okay, now it's open. And here you can see what we have inside. So there is plenty of space, and we are going to take a closer look together, so just give me a second. It's a resealable plastic bag, so it's easy to open. And as far as I know, this is not a completely new plastic, so it should be familiar to some of you who already have some experience with this kit. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion or experience with building this model. But now we are going to start with a clear frame. As you can see here, we have canopy parts, and I would say clear plastic looks more or less fine. It's not that thick, and I'm not sure if masks are included. We'll have to check it during the checking the assembly manual, but I hope that it is included, at least some masks and plates, which will help you with overall assembly and painting process. Now we are going to start with a sprue A, and let's zoom out a bit. So here you can see two fuselage halves. Obviously here we have the separation by the horizontal axis, but still it is, I would say, something what you would expect from such kit. Note that nose cone is separated into two halves, so it's not that cool for such aircraft, and even in 1/72 scale it's a quite important element, and I would rather see it as a one-piece part. But that's also the reason why I mentioned that this is not a completely new plastic, because we have some old design cues here and you can't do anything about it. We have recessed panel lines. We also have the engine nozzles here, parts pre-molded, but note that the endings are single piece parts. And here inside you can also check that we have some simple guiding elements which will help you to align all these parts, even in the nose section area. And now let's do the zoom view for all these parts. Okay, so that was the first sprue, which is lettered as A. Next, we continue with the next sprue. Just let me check the... Okay, so here is the sprue letter B. And here you'll find wing parts. We also have air intake parts and also some cockpit elements. So again, pretty much the same external features. It means that we have recessed panel lines. Note that wing mechanization, it is pre-molded, so you won't be able to move it in any way. And I wouldn't say it is surprising for 1/72 scale, but obviously it would be cool to have these parts as separate elements. And the pilot seat might be a good candidate for replacement for something resin, so that you have a nice cockpit. And here on the opposite side you can see that wing and tail fins, they are actually molded as a single piece parts, which is also quite handy because you won't have to deal with separate halves assembly just like in some other kits. And now let's take a closer look with help of our macro lenses. And that was the sprue B. Okay. There is one more. As you remember, we have 3 gray sprues here. And I'm not sure what is the letter of this sprue. Let's say it's sprue number C. But here we have all the external equipment. It means the few tanks, missile launchers, and also missiles which will be or can be installed on the aircraft. We also have landing gear together with wheels. And for the landing gear, I would rather suggest to replace the wheels with resin aftermarket, because resin will give you better features even in such small scale, and it will be important even in this small size. And just to give you a better understanding, let's go for the macro view. I hope you were able to see all these parts, and now we move on to other components of this kit. So as you remember, we have one marking option, and decals are hidden in the assembly manual just as usual for ICM. So first of all, we have this decals sheet with various numbers, and note that we have a full number registry, so this is quite interesting thing because you will be able to replicate whatever aircraft number you would like to, and that's actually a good surprise in my opinion. And of course it might be handy for some special aircraft numbers. And next we continue also with this special decals sheet. Here we have all the decals for the digital camouflage. So not all modelers are happy to do it with the masks, and that's where these decals will come handy. Not happy, but maybe happy as well. Now, as you can see, these are segments which should be applied on various parts of the aircraft. They look fine, but obviously for the better paint finish you have to resort to masks, but this should be enough for out-of-the-box build. And just to give you a better idea about the quality of these decals, let's take a closer view. Okay, so that was the decal set. Just to remind you, there are two of them, two decal sheets. And next we continue with assembly manual. So this one is printed in form of large brochure. We have a short history note on the first page, and also some technical specifications, paint chart, and address of the manufacturer. Next we continue with assembly manual. So here the red cover obviously means that these parts will not be used, so pay attention. These large external equipment parts, they will not be used in the current build. Assembly process starts with the cockpit, which is rather simple. Then we continue with the nose landing gear and insert the cockpit onto the top fuselage half. Then we join fuselage halves together, and then you proceed with air intakes, canopy, also engine nozzles, tail fins, wing, and also missiles and main landing gear. So pretty much easy thing to build, at least when you look at all these instructions. And here on the last page we have a marking guide. So as you can see, there is a suggested aircraft number. Actually there is an option for the aircraft number, but of course you can change it. As you can see, there are 3 versions available. The same goes for these signs on the tail fins, and it's quite a good variety. As you remember, we have a full number registry, which should be also handy for replicating something different. So this aircraft or this kit should be already available. You can get it in Modelimex, for example. Of course, I'll be happy to hear your opinion about such a list. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.